Hello, hey y'all. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time you're watching this. But shout out to you for pulling up to our Tuesday lives with Trey and Jay. As you already know, I'm Trey.
And I'm Jay. So hey.
Yes, on this channel, we share our lives to encourage others to love Jesus, love themselves, and love others well. And please make sure you guys are subscribing. I feel like I need to make sure to say that each week.
Mhm.
Not because we just want to have subscribers. Yes, of course we do, but simply because, like, y'all, we giving good content. Okay, we're giving good content and we're giving consistent content, and so that's the part that's really that we really want to see grow. And so with that being said, please be sure to share, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know, like, DM us, let us know what's up. Like, girl, I actually did not agree with that, or you know what, I did agree with that. Let me tell you an example. Pull up into our DMs, like, we're there. We live there, we reside there. So you can definitely engage with us. So as per usual, I'm gonna hand it over to Janelle because she is going to let us know what we are talking about tonight.
Usual, I'm excited about this topic. So though I'm technically not dating different people, I'm dating one person. And I'm still passionate about talking about dating. So this whole entire month we're gonna talk about dating. We talked about we're going to be talking about the purpose of dating on purpose,
Yeah.
dating with purpose the whole month. Last week we talked about why date and why now, because you don't have to date. I think society thinks that you just have to keep on going on dates, but you can take a break or you cannot date. And then why would you start dating? So that just or stop, or what is a good time to date? So I would say go check that out. It's on our YouTube page. It's actually on our Instagram page as well. And it was a great conversation. And today I'm even more excited because we're with our friend Xavier Boast, and we're going to talk about.
Gorgeous, y'all. Mm,
Yes, she is gorgeous.
gorgeous.
She is super gorgeous. And we're going to talk about misogyny in dating. The tagline is the Kevin Samuel effect. But to be honest, there's way more. It's not only Kevin Samuels. It's a lot of voices out there that we have issues with, and we're not here to bash what they say, but we're here to challenge what they say
Yeah.
lovingly. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, we wanted to talk to Xavier because she's one of our friends. We know that she is available, she's dating, but most importantly, like, she loves Jesus, and I believe she's doing it in the right way. So we wanted to just get her opinion about how it is to date as, uh, I forgot, was it Gen X? We're Gen Z. No, I forgot
No,
what generation. You tell me.
it's
But she's
Gen
in her
X.
40s and she's loving it, and she's not in like, she doesn't need to be with someone, but she would like to be with someone, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going
Absolutely
to bring
nothing.
Xavier
Hmm.
on. Hey girl.
Look at this gorgeous face pulling up, y'all. Come on. Yes. Let's give a clap for it. Like, yes, Lord. Like,
Hey
he could do
y'all.
all the things. He could do all the things. And one of the things is he made you beautiful, girlfriend. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He
Yes,
made you a look.
yes,
I
yes,
love it.
yes.
Look at
I
And
love
God.
it.
there's
I love
nothing
it.
wrong with it either.
Thank
Absolutely
y'all.
nothing wrong with
Glad
So
to
thank
be
you for
here with
being
y'all.
with
You over
us.
here.
it. Blush on, girl, because you look good. Okay.
So thank you for being with Xavier. We're excited to talk about this because dating, for me, when I was dating, it was one of those things that it was hard for me. Um, Even though, like, I just felt it was hard. It was hard because I felt like it was kind of like, without Jesus, I felt like it was hopeless. And
Mm.
that sounds so harsh, but that's how I felt. I was like, dang, these people out here, I just don't know. But
Yeah.
then again, I met some cool guys who just weren't for me. So that's, it is what it is. And then
Hmm.
clearly, well, you guys may not know, but clearly, eventually I started dating my husband, and then it worked out. So let's talk about there's so many things. But we specifically said we want to talk about misogyny and dating because we've realized that there's a hatred sort of, or maybe hatred is a harsh word, but there's a dislike towards women. And it
Mm.
seems like it's affecting us in all different areas, but it's also affecting us in dating. So, one, let's talk about well, I think this is an assumption that you are dating. Are you dating right now?
Am I dating? Inquiring
And so
minds.
I'm sure the men are like, let's see, is she dating?
I am dating lightly and open to dating. I think dating is important. Dating in itself is like, what does dating mean? It means something different to everyone. So then I
Yes.
think also defining what dating is,
Yes.
because I've definitely heard numerous definitions over the years, and you kind of need to clarify what you mean when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
dating meaning like, if somebody asks you out, go out, try to get to know them, and you can date multiple people. I think at one point in my life, um, which I think when we're younger, or either society teaches women this, at least my generation, was like, you date one person. But then I actually had to learn that you can date multiple people, meaning go out with multiple people, get to know different people, because sometimes you put all your eggs in one basket and that basket is not for you.
That basket got holes in it,
That
y'all.
basket got
Honey,
holes and
honey.
and critters and so for me, dating is like, I'm open to getting to know people and seeing if there's a real organic connection with somebody where it can lead to like really, I guess, courting. And that's
Yeah.
another term where you can does that mean it's on both sides? I mean, we're in this day and age where it's like society is telling women court men. I wasn't raised like that, but I'm from a different generation who was raised by baby boomers, so there's a different thought process there. And just to clarify, I am y'all heard this term before, a zennial, because I'm literally on the cusp of the end of
Ooh.
Gen X and the beginning of millennials. So the new term for that is now
It's a
zennials.
zennial. Ooh, I
You
never
know
heard
what?
that.
Thank you,
I
Xavier,
like
because
that.
I'm going to tell my husband that he is a zennial
Yeah, because
because
we're the same
he always talk about y'all millennials, and I'm like,
But
bro,
we're still, I mean, honestly, I claim Gen X. I always have, but Zennial is just a new term because there is where we are so ingrained in the culture of millennial, because we're so close that we have the best of honestly both worlds. We're
Yeah.
like Gen Xers, but we also, grew up learning everything that a millennial did, right?
right,
So
right. And
yeah.
I would say
Wow.
I'm like in the older millennial stage, so I feel like I'm somewhat
Yeah.
like that. Like, I don't want to
Mhm.
say the grandma because that sounds crazy, but like just like on the older side, because there's people who are like 10 years younger than me who's still a millennial, I think, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
And that's a big
bro,
generation gap,
yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
there's a
Your
Yeah.
difference.
thought process is different.
Yeah.
That 10-year
Yeah.
difference is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Very true.
It's
Very
huge.
true.
So I feel like I'm closer to, even though I'm not that age, but like I feel like I'm closer to hang
A
out
Gen,
with a whole bunch of Gen X's.
you're a
So
Gen Xers.
shout out to the Gen X.
I mean, so the question that I have around like misogyny and dating, like what is one example where you would say like this is an example of misogyny in dating? Because I think that we sometimes have these phrases. So I thank you for even explaining what Gen X and a Zennial is, because we throw around words, and even just explaining what dating means, we throw around words and we don't necessarily know what it actually means. And so yeah, so for
Mhm.
me, I think the best way for us to start is like what is misogyny in dating? How does that even show itself in dating?
Thank
Or
you,
do you
Trey.
think
And
it
so,
does?
sorry, Xavier, before you start, I just want to actually read the definition of misogyny. Like I know we
Yeah,
know, but like
no,
dislike,
definitely.
dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. So that's misogyny. And I honestly think there's like, there's the flip side to men too. And I had that to a certain degree. And we'll talk about that. But first, I want you to, answer Trey's question.
So it's funny because thankfully I can't say that I've personally experienced that. But I'm being in this world of social media and everything I've been exposed to is seeing the conversations
Yeah.
and also the shift in society, because we have such a shift in how everything is, right? Gender roles, what is expectations, what shouldn't be expectations, things like that. So speaking of what is his name? Kevin Samuels. What's his name, right?
Homie over
Yeah, homie
there.
over there, bro man. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I try to avoid him as much as possible, just because I've also seen the clips. Until today, I had never gone to his page. But I think he would be the epitome of what we would call, and for those who don't know, I guess, look, we got Google, just look it up, Kevin Samuels. But there's clips of him all over the place. I think the one I saw, which is the same one I saw again today, um, I think it's about the approach and the thought process and what kept coming out of his mouth, which really, I was getting riled. I was in Walmart watching this, y'all. So he kept saying, y'all black women, this is your problem. This is this,
Mhm.
this is that. Y'all black women always do this and you think you're better than. So one, I feel like there's insecurities because of the way he kept saying, we think, right? And I'm just going to generalize because it sounds like that's what he was doing. We think we're better than the black man who doesn't make this amount or whatever the case may be. And y'all are not on my level, and you need to have this and you need to have that, right? And I'm the man and we're the man, and men expect something, and you need to basically come to the table. We don't care about your money, we care about what you look like, and you're below average. Like, the terminologies and the things that he was saying to these women, honestly, it had me wondering. I'm like, do men think like this and just don't say it? And is he the man who is willing to say it? That's why he has so
Mm,
many
mm,
followers.
mm,
He has
mm.
millions
He had 1 point. I know. Let me not say it. Some number of million followers,
on
and then
Instagram. I saw that. I
no,
said,
that was on YouTube. That was on YouTube.
oh,
I didn't
but
go back.
he also has a million
Okay,
on Instagram.
yeah, and so I'm a person, I always want to read the comments. The
Me
comments were
too.
flooded with men saying, "Thank you so much. You just spoke my life. This is exactly the woman I was married to who I left, and this and that." So I also realized there's a bunch of men who identify with what he is saying.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
a whole community out there
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
following this man,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or just their thought process aligns with what he says, so they're drawn to him.
Yeah.
And then it makes me think why we meaning those of us who are single, whether you're in your 30s, your 40s, and I'll use those two because when you're in your 20s, you may be in a different mindset. But for
Yeah.
those of us like myself, I'm open, willing, ready to be in a serious relationship. Not that I need it, but I'm just at a point in my life where I want that partner, right? I want that
Yeah.
partner to share with and to experience all that God has like placed for me to have in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's like I look at my challenges with dating and the things that I've experienced, and also other women, many women that I know, beautiful, um, educated, loving, what
Mhm.
the church would call submissive, like those type of who are also ready for relationships and are also having challenges. There's a generation of folks who are this is their thoughts. And so when we get into the
Yeah.
conversations and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? This is a whole new era. I don't even know how to navigate this. Even at my
You.
age, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it, it
Yeah.
The thing that I've. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't.
no, I think there's a delay,
Oh,
but go ahead.
the thing that I recognize is that it just makes me it makes me frustrated, like, because so have we boiled value of relationship down to finances and your physicality, like, because that's
That's what
really
it seems like.
that's what it is. It's like
Yes,
Yeah.
if you looking like a bad, you know what I'm saying,
yes,
or if you got money in the bank, and make sure you don't got no kids by no other man, and it's like, but you
He
don't know what anybody's life has been,
Her
and
husband could have
just
died. You know what I'm
you
saying?
don't
Like,
even know, you don't even know
sir,
anything, and it's like
it's, he just knows how
it's
she looks.
yeah, it's this consistent story of yo, she, because it's like it feels like to me it's like a consistent story about what she should be, who she should be,
Yeah.
right? So the woman should not have had any children prior
None.
to
Nope.
meeting you. And what
Though
happens if
she's
she
like
meets
in
you?
her late
What happens if
30s,
Shorty
what
meets
you
you at
expect?
45 and she had a kid when she was 18? What
Oh,
like
well, she's
what
not
happens?
worthy at that age because apparently over 35, he made it sound like we were dead to the world. So
Yes, I know that. Girl,
Whoa.
I'm coming for that one too. But it's that. It's like don't have any children prior to meeting this man. Because that now makes you less than. It makes you less attractive, right? Then if you don't have the type of money that you are looking for from a man. But the funny thing is that it's like, oh, we don't want you to make too much money though.
Mhm.
But like
As a woman, right?
as a woman, but don't come to him not having the money that you requesting for him to have, right? So there's
So you
that.
can make
So
more
it's the
somehow.
dichotomy of how that exists, right? And then the other thing is if you are not if you are not Instagram model body, real Instagram model body, like I'm not even talking about fake Instagram model body because even the fake bodies, there was an issue with that. And it's like, okay, but you if you don't have the real authentic Instagram body,
Mhm.
um then you're not worth it. And it's just like, wow, okay, so I cannot have had a child before meeting the person who, in my mind, if I have a child prior to meeting you, you are to love this child like it's your own, and then we can have some more if you want, if we can, like what if we're deciding to do that, or if you have children, does that now make you less attractive to me? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a whole nother. It's a
Yeah.
whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The video that I sent Tracy, which was the second video on it was the second, like he had, on Instagram you have the newest come up first. So it was like maybe a day old. And there was a young lady who's my age, who's 37, who had two kids that called in. So I definitely have to say she asked for this because she called in and she asked him. People like
Yep.
me are not going to ask him about that. So there's a level of, in my opinion, she's misguided in some way because she's asking for his validation or his, she's looking for something, which I
Yeah.
understand, like, hey, help me out, I get that. But the source and where you get it from, sis. So anyway, so she went to him, she asked for it, and one of the first things he said was, how old are you, what
Mhm.
size are you,
Yeah.
how
Mhm.
much do you weigh,
Yeah.
Yep.
how tall are you,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
then he said, is this your face without makeup? I said, are we in a modeling contest or are we talking about, like, I understand if I'm going up to be a model. Clearly, you don't have to lead with when you're trying to be a model, you lead with your physicality. Fine, you know
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
to ask about a potential person to date and marry, yes, we are physical beings. We want to see something good. But he made her feel like, well, I can't say he made her feel like. What I heard was, sis, you're average at best because you're 5'3" and 150 pounds. And nobody wants kids. Nobody wants anyone with kids, which to me doesn't make sense because she's 37. Like you said, Trey, what you expect?
I'm now meeting you. You
so,
don't know my
so
life.
It's
So
completely
Xavier
unrealistic
is,
expectations that are put on
yeah.
women. And when I was younger, listen, it's like, especially, I'm an artist, and so I shared this with Janelle before, that when I was pursuing music really, really hard industry wise, that is exactly how the industry treats women, or at least it did. It may have shifted a bit, but it's still just like most things in this world run by men, right? And
Mm.
it was always about not even a talent, but about what we looked like.
Mm.
And also how old we are. And I told her I lied about my age for my entire 30th year because of the music industry making me feel like I was old past 25, and
Wow.
I think in this world, especially the more money,
Mm.
right? Because the world also teaches men that you need to have money and cars and stuff to pull women, right? So for them,
Girl.
that's what they are taught as validation for their worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we really need to decolonize all of these thought processes that have been literally saturated in our communities.
Yeah.
But it's folks
Yeah.
like him and others who think like that keep that going, because if we just focus on this physical, where's the substance? Where's all the other pieces of this puzzle?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But for him, what I heard him say was I think it was two different women, but the same advice is what he gave to them. The same thing. He asked, what do you look like? And he said exactly that. He said, you know what, sis, you are average. Don't make me say it. He kept saying, and I was like, Lord, he gonna tell this woman she looked like a dog. And he kept saying, don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. And he was like, you are average at best. You are not worth someone who makes six figures. They are not looking for you. That's why you don't have a date, because they are not the ones you want, don't want you. Why don't you just go find an average man like yourself? That's what he told her. And
This is
I was
let me
cringing.
tap into there
It's
right quick,
disgusting.
because what I also hear, and this is the part that really saddens me too, is the fact that there are these women who are contacting him and calling,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
also are saying out loud that they believe for themselves that they are average and less
At
than,
best.
and at best. And it's like, I don't know where that language comes from, or if that's like that, in like that perpetual indoctrination that
Yeah.
happens when you now start to believe the mess that you are less than based on size, less than based on finances, less than based on you already have
Mm-hmm.
you already have children. Like, none of these things make you less than. Because honestly, the reality is, if I want to date you, I'm gonna date you. Like, it is what it is. It's like, I mean, I've said this before, Xavier. I'll just say this again, but like, my fiance has a kid. I never, let me say it again,
Neb.
never. Like, never wanted to be with anybody who had a kid. In my mind, everything, first things first, Trey,
Yes.
all day. Like, that's how it was for me. So the moment I found out that he had a child and he told me and everything, I was like, man, I already like you, so it's okay. I
It
mean,
don't matter.
it
And
don't
we from
even matter.
someone in their mid to late 30s into your what do
But
you
this is what I'm trying to
expect?
say. It really saddens me that that even comes up, that somewhere down the line in your life, somewhere around it, someone you were made to believe a
Yeah.
lie of the enemy, that you are less than based on any of these
That's
factors.
right. That's right.
You are
The lie
absolutely
of the
fearfully
enemy.
and wonderfully made. Like, there's
That's right.
zero zing zing mistakes made with you. Like, the Lord did not he was not like, oh, I messed up with you. Dang, let me no.
That's
He's
right.
not making mistakes. That quirkiness that you have, all those,
The fact
nuances
that,
that are
yeah, like
within you,
the
all
fact that
of
you're not
that
a stick
is for you.
figure. Yes.
Yes. Like, I just, I mean, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
And that's the thing. And I think so. That's the part, right? So being a Christian woman, right, who has
Yes. Let's talk
also
about it.
many times, let me be transparent. Like I don't do the holy of the thing, right? I've had my falters and all the things, right? I'm a human being, and God knows that. That's why He saved me. but but
Hmm.
dating as a Christian woman is so challenging, because with certain standards that I have for myself that I want to stay true to, um, I tend to meet. I've dated and thought I could get past the fact if someone is not grounded in Christianity, right? Does not have a relationship with Christ. I even dated.
Ooh, come on,
Yeah,
Xavier.
I've
Tell
dated
us how it
someone.
was.
Let's
who
talk
I'm
about
not even going to say the religious because I don't want to call anything out particularly, but I'll just say of other faiths and other belief systems and
it.
things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And and it's mainly because it's like the Christian brothers. I'm gonna tell you, I can probably count how many people who are men who are grounded in Christianity have like approached me. I tend to meet, other and when
Let's
you're
get into
single
it.
for so long, you're like, but this person is a nice person, and maybe this could work, this and that. But it's difficult because if that foundation, y'all don't share the same foundation, there's gonna be something,
Foundation.
right? You have to have that foundation and that grounding in your relationship with Christ and how you walk. Because for me, it governs all my decisions in life. It governs how I move. It governs how I think about my future with my husband. If I meet
Absolutely.
a man
Mhm, mhm.
who knows nothing about what the Bible says about marriage, right? He's going off of whatever his faith is or belief system is or non-belief system. Um, we're not going to be thinking the same. So even when it comes to conflict resolution and things like that, or if we decide to have a family or
Forget
whatever,
about it,
all
child.
major decisions are going to be
Yeah.
affected by that. So for me, even with dating, like I have almost immediately like men trying to get me into bed, and I'm just like, nah, homie, I want to. First off, we don't even know each other. Like,
Hi, what's
let's
your name? How are you?
Yeah,
not get,
yeah, yeah,
let's not
yeah.
even
What do
get
you
to the Christianity. Like,
But it comes with this concept that if I like you and I talk to you enough and I buy you enough stuff or I do enough stuff for
so that
you
you have that they have
to
money?
show you that I got this bread, because as
Right.
a man, I'm supposed to have this money. And if I don't got this money on site, then I'm not worth it, so to speak. And it comes with that, and it really saddens me because if your worth is wrapped around with how much money you make,
yeah,
you will consistently struggle
yeah,
because every single time your money is not always going to look the same exact way this year in comparison to 2 years from now, in comparison to 7 years from now, in comparison to 15 years from, and let alone the moment that you desire to retire in whatever position that you're working in and decide to do something else, do whatever you've always loved to do, you're not necessarily going to have that same exact amount of money.
yeah,
So with that being said, if your identity is wrapped in the money, that's a struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with this concept of, yo, if I show you enough of what I can do financially, like what's the problem with you getting on me? Like what's the problem of you like, let's do this? Like what's the problem? And that's the part when it's like, are so
Mm-hmm.
I was reading something, I was watching something from him, and it was kind of like, because then there's always these other people, and then you go to the comments and then you look at the other pages. So yeah, girl, that one.
that's
And I found this other I found this other page when you were like, I be in the comments. I'm like, girl, I be there
Yep.
too. So I found this other page and they were saying that like, yo, if she doesn't have if she's not giving it to you, it's because you haven't proven yourself yet. And the way that you prove yourself as a man is to like show money. Like show
Stability.
money.
So,
You're right.
so I have something to say about that. The world. So when we mean by the world, we mean I'm talking about the world in general, like people in general, but also those who are not Christ followers, right? The world, those who are not Christ followers, usually distorts things that God created, right? And so when we think about women, I remember I read this book. It's called The Purpose and Power of Women by this the late Miles Monroe. And one of the things he said was, there's like top 5 things that women want in their husbands and their partners, and top 5 things that men want in their partners. And what, like, the first 1 or 2 or 3 is stability, like the fact that he'll be able to take care of us. The
Yeah.
one, two,
yeah,
or three for men is sex, which is fine if you are in a committed relationship, which is, but like I said in the beginning, the world distorts things and they make things, they abuse things, they take what God created and use it in a way that's not the way he created it to be. So yes, as women, we want to be taken care of, but we can also take care of ourselves, yes. But we want to be taken care of, but it's not everything. It's one of the on the list. Same thing for
Right.
sex with men. We want to have sex with women, of course. But like with men, it's up there. It's like one, two, or three. I can't remember where it is. It's probably one. I don't know. One, two, or three. They want to have sex. There's nothing wrong with that. And when you're committed marriage, right? Have all the sex you want to when you're married. But it is not all the end all be all. When I'm married, listen, y'all, sex is not the only thing. There's other things that you need for
It's 24
health.
hours in the whole day. How many
Right,
minutes you having sex for? Let's
right. When
get
I
there.
look at my grandmother, she's
Give me a
92 years
foreplay.
old. Her husband died when she was 80, when he died when he was 88. You think they was having sex at 88? No. But they were in the bed talking to each other, laughing and whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that that's what the world, that's what this is what Xavier said is true. Like as a believer, as a Christian, if y'all don't have the same values,
Mm-hmm.
what is life? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that is going on. Kevin Samuels is saying, unfortunately, that people believe. That's why he has
Mm-hmm.
millions. There are
Yes.
men who believe what he believes, like you said
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
Xavier. So that is the issue. And we're not talking about misogyny right now, but that's fine. But it's still like it's a lingering thing because our if you want to say a little bit about this, Trey, I think so. You were
I'm
said you were talking to one of our friends, one of a few people, and you was like one of the persons that you spoke to was hurt.
Oh yeah,
Trust and
yeah.
believe. I was hurt by a man, and you can tell what is the opposite of misogyny? Not the opposite, but like a dislike towards men. I could say that was me for sure.
Mm.
And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have been dating.
Yeah.
So if you are misogynist, you shouldn't be dating. You need to get your heart together, get your mind together, and figure it out. Talk to
I've
God.
it's
So
very it's coming from a hurt place
hurt,
normally.
like,
You know
you're
what I'm
hurt.
saying? A hurt
You're hurt.
place of, your ego has been bruised. Your pride
Mhm.
has been bruised by someone who said that, yo, you will never amount to anything. Like if you listen, and this is kind of it's not necessarily that random, but if you listen to Drake at any point in time, like there's many different songs that he talks about it, where it's like someone said some rough things to, like some of these women
You
said
Yeah.
hurt.
some
Who
rough
hurt you,
things to
sis? Who hurt you,
you.
bro?
Like somebody like these
Hurt.
people, these women really hurt your feelings on some, like I remember I was listening to it, I think it was probably like yesterday or 2 days ago. Um and there was this song where he said a girl said I would never amount to Trey songs, or boy was she wrong. And it's like,
Yeah, she was
wow,
wrong. But
like you
still,
were
That's
consistently,
telling.
yeah, like you were consistently hurt by someone. So
Yeah.
every time you're like, I'm gonna show you this money. Like I was probably, and I'll talk about this. I was in a relationship. This is, I was in a relationship with somebody, and the moment um that they got some money, that was the first thing that they said to me, because to them that's what made them more important. Like I could
Mm.
I could get you I could get you whatever you want. I could buy you whatever you want. I could give you money. I could do this. And it's like, nah, it ain't about that. But because it's wrapped that way for
Mm-hmm.
you, it makes sense that that would be the first go-to thing that you would say. And this is what Kevin Samuels talks about. It's like he talks specifically about get your money up, men. That's the conversation that he has
and
with men.
slim down
Yep.
women,
Yeah.
wear makeup or make sure that your face look
Yeah,
good.
because that's where their power lies, right? So I don't know his story. I have no idea what his backstory is, but maybe he's that man who was told by women, you don't have enough, you're not on my level, you
I would
know,
not be surprised.
you're not up to par, whatever case may be. So, and maybe his goal
And he was
was
hearing
to
that
get
from
to
women
that
who are average at
level.
best.
That's right. And he was maybe his goal was to get to that level. And sadly, we know that there is a world of women out there who do go after men because of their money, right? So also
Yes.
it kind of, as you said,
Absolutely.
Jeanette, like it can, it can go both ways. Like maybe the men are reacting reacting to what they've experienced, and vice versa, the women are reacting to what they've experienced and what they've been taught. So I can totally see in all of these kind of conversations with the Kevin Samuels and other things, if you even hear from Drake or whatever, it's rooted and wrapped up in hurt, pain, and
Yeah,
insecurity, right?
absolutely.
And so the way
Absolutely.
to
Very LDE,
continue,
y'all.
right, and so the way to continue to boost themselves up, keep your money up, right? And you're
Yep.
supposed to have a daddy on your arm, because anything is below you, right? You've worked to
Right.
get to this point, and so
So your
you now,
money should equate to who is
that's
on your
right.
arm.
That's right. And he
Yep.
actually made a comment in the video that I saw, and he said, the young lady said something about, well, young women don't usually like older men. He said, please, I'm 51 and I can't beat them away with a bat. That's what he said.
Because of
And
his money.
Yeah.
Because of his money.
Yep.
It ain't because of you. It's like what are the characteristics that we're looking for? Like, let's be honest. If we're looking for just money, say you just looking for just money. But the reality is you cannot like you're not marrying money. I like you're not. I literally was reading something and it was like people be looking for all the financial stability all day. Yet, and that was somebody who said that in the comment. People be looking for financial stability all day, yet you forget that you're living your lifetime with
Mm,
a person. You need to check their spiritual and,
mm-hmm.
and physical, like their ability to be okay with
That's
themselves,
right.
their minds, their hearts, who they are. Like,
Conflict
yo,
resolution.
like you don't like, are you the type of person, like for real, like you could make your money, whatever the money is, but are you the type of person, if you are struggling with something, are you just gonna acquiesce to it,
Mm.
or are you a fighter? Are you gonna know that if you're just focusing on the $10 that the person got in their pocket, or the $20, $200,000, whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you focusing
Can I tell
on?
you something? When I was 25, I dated this guy who was only like a year or two older than me, and he made well over 250,000 a year. In your mid 20s, you making that much money? I couldn't run away from that relationship any faster because he was so emotionally unhealthy. I
Mm.
remember I was in his beautiful, beautiful apartment. He had the windows were from the top, from the ceiling to the floor. He had the BMW new. He had the motorcycle. He had the golf clubs. What else? I met him on vacation, so he was, he was on vacation. He was doing all the things. He was traveling internationally, all the things. And I remember one time I was in his house and I was sitting there and he was going through his drawers real fast. And I was like, again, I don't know why he's mad. I didn't do anything. Is he gonna stab me? Like that, like these are the things
Sure.
you
Oh
just
my gosh.
that's how
Yeah.
far my mind went because he was so his mind and his emotions
Emotional.
were just
Like
all over
0
the
to
place.
100.
And I said,
Yeah.
Janelle, if you are sitting in someone's house by yourself and you are concerned that he might just flip and you didn't do anything, get out the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So I got
Right.
out. He called me a billion like times over and over and over again. I said, I don't care how much you make. I'm out because I want to live. I'm only 25 years old.
Sounds like
Mm-hmm.
narcissistic behavior too, which is really scary because they can be charming and they can be this and
He's
then also
very
that,
charming. Very.
yeah, but
I
then
feel like
can
I was in a
flip the
movie.
script very easily, right?
Yeah.
And you have to
Yeah.
think about where
And
does
it becomes
also,
a you thing. Like, I messed up.
Right.
well,
I
and
said,
it,
Janelle, what
it's
did
a
you
form
do
of
wrong?
abuse. It's
Yeah,
a
that is
It's
that
it's
abuse.
that's exactly the way. That's the abuse. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes, I had to ask myself, what
yeah,
did I do
because
wrong? And
abuse
I'm
has
like, I
no,
didn't do anything. It's crazy. Anyway,
there is it's I think all of this, even the misogyny, and it's a form of abuse, right? And I think so many
Yeah.
people don't realize it because where the society teaches, and we're not going to say every part and every, but I want to say majority of the times, like society teaches these things. And who is society, right? The people, what we watch on TV, media, right? We're in this social media age where everything, like you mentioned, Trey, about the fake bodies, right?
Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, we're in this age where everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be on
yes.
Mm,
point. Your ritual needs to be, I
mm.
was told I'm not. I've never been a skinny girl. It's just not in my makeup. In order for me to be smaller, I have to work out about 6, 7 times a week, right? And and at the point when I had the time and even the energy to do that, I was still being told I was too big, right? I actually was told by a girlfriend, the one of the guys who I was so like, I really was infatuated with him, interested in him. And I won't say what he did, but we were always around each other and everything like that. And I couldn't figure out like why he wasn't attracted to me, and was told later on by my girlfriend that he said that I was too big, like I was too fat, basically. He never said it to my face. And I look back at those pictures at that time, and my self-esteem was really low. That was when I was in the music industry. I was in a girl trio, and I was the short one. I'm 5'2". I was the short one and the thick one, right? My group mates were 5'7", 5'8", right? So already add the height, right? Distribution of weight is different. And then also being the thicker one. So I was always constantly self-conscious about my weight, being
Mm.
told since I was a child. And now I'm in the music industry, and it's like, oh, we don't care what you sound like, you need to get your image together. And that hurt me to my core, that this person who I thought was a friend and I was interested in was actually said this. I kind of felt it just because of the woman who I saw him date, who was like super skinny. I was completely opposite. But to hear that he actually said that
Yeah.
out his mouth, right?
Hmm.
So it all boiled down to nothing about my personality, nothing about my talent, nothing about anything about me. It boiled down to that I was too fat for him, right? And
Mhm.
it makes me think like that. I get it. People have preferences. I have preferences, right?
Hmm.
We all have,
Hmm.
and I'm talking about physicality. We can talk the spiritual stuff, but I'm saying on first meeting, when you meet somebody, there's a physical attraction, or there's not.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
we all have what that looks like for us, right? So that's fine. But I think for women with men, a lot of times, and I've heard this from men, that they are visual creatures,
Yeah.
and for them to even get to the part of wanting to know about the depth of you, the physical needs to be there. And
Hmm.
honestly, when Kevin was saying some of the things he was saying, I was like, I think he's speaking what men don't say out loud.
Some men,
You
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
women said that a man has ghosted and we don't know why. It's because they don't want to say the things that this man is actually on YouTube and
Saying.
Instagram saying,
Hmm.
right?
That's the reason why there are some things, and I want to be clear on how to say this. There
Mm.
are some of the things that he is saying that I'm like, I understand. Like
Yeah.
I had that
I do
revelation today too.
understand. Yeah, like to a degree, I do understand. I
Mhm.
It's that
don't like.
his delivery is mean though. I don't like that.
Delivery is
Right,
trash. It's
right.
It's like,
horrible.
But at
yo,
the same
someone
time,
hurt you and you're taking it out on all these people, all these
yeah,
women.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
But
that's the thing.
but you're
But
right, Trey.
regardless of which, is there any validity to what is being said? And in all honesty, there is some validity in what is being said. It is the delivery that absolutely sucks. But at the end of the day, are we able to take the delivery? Like, are we able to take the content? Or are we not taking the content because of the delivery?
Yeah.
And that's a real place to be. So like if it's one of those things where, yo, this guy ghosted. I don't know if you guys ever I've been wrapped up in this show called the blind love blind date. No, not blind date. Love is blind. Love is blind. I've been wrapped up in this show from Netflix, and the Indian guy, I cannot stand him. Okay. But the real reason is that he loves this girl. He's like, she's so great. But he said it just like this, and I'm gonna say it exactly how he said it. He's like, but my dick doesn't get hard around her. And and I'm thinking to myself, it should though. It should.
It
Like
should.
you should. It
It,
should.
it should.
It should. So you're right. Like
Maybe it
you
doesn't,
you
maybe
got
not
it.
hard, but he should be attractive.
No, like it should jump. It should be like there
A
should be
No,
some
little.
it's
excitement.
that's him
Like
saying it just plainly. It's true. Because
but
I
when
think
he
it's
Yeah,
the
said
I
it
same
mean,
thing with
plainly
women.
like that,
yeah, because
it's
guess what?
really
I had the
difficult. But the
nerve.
same thing with a woman. If a woman, if she see her man, she should have some excitement. If she don't got no excitement,
It
That's
should be a little
right.
something.
I mean, that goes back to what we said, because I've experienced that where somebody like, and I felt bad because like I had people in my life who wanted to date me and was all the things that
yep.
I want from somebody
Mm-hmm.
I'm attracted to, but I was not attracted. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, the reality is, we let's get to it. When I get married, it's
Right.
gonna be on. I gotta
Right.
wanna be on
My
with my
girl.
Maybe it can
husband.
be
Like,
on the chandeliers,
My
like
girl.
I mean,
I'm listening
listen,
to
let
you
me tell
loud and
you,
clear.
Janelle, after I
Thank
get
you.
married, y'all better not call me for a month.
My girl, I
I
told
will not.
Janelle. I
I'll be
told
like,
Janelle the same thing.
I'll send over some water for you, and what else?
Listen,
Some
send hydration packages.
Yes. 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 Send me water. Send me food. That's it.
water. What? What
I
else you need?
literally
Hydrate
told
and get
Janelle,
you
I was
going
like,
again.
listen,
It's
I'm
gonna be
going
on
from
and
here.
popping,
I'm going
okay?
from here to here. I'm leaving from the sex for a moment. I'll come right back, but I'm leaving from the sex for just a quick moment. I don't expect me to be somewhere too long or
Oh
doing things,
my
committing for things for too long because no. But that's the thing. It
God. That's
has to
real talk.
like it is and it's real and it's natural and it is true. So that's why it's like if this man is not contacting you, if the man has ghosted you, or if the woman has ghosted you, or I find ghosting to be hella immature, I'm gonna
Yeah, it
just say
is.
that
It
real
really is.
quick because own it. You're not interested in the person, just say
Say
that.
it. That's
And
right.
that is it, and keep it pushing.
Be
But
mature.
to just ghost them and you know that they're calling you, you know that they're hitting you up, that they're texting you looking for, you know what I'm saying? Like, come
An
on, be
avoidance.
mature. Um, but I do absolutely believe that you are to be attracted to the person. But as I was saying with Love is Blind, the man was like, yeah, but my dick doesn't get hard. And because of that, to him, it was like, it's so close but so far, right? And which
Yeah.
is the same thing with Kevin Samuels, what he's saying. It's like, yeah, he could like your personality, but don't think that he's going to like you for like long term.
That's right.
And because of the reason, and the reason being is because you have a child or
I
you're
think
all of these other things, and it's like, okay, well, at some point we get to recognize that I'm choosing too. It's not just this man is
Right.
choosing. I am choosing too.
That's right.
So
absolutely,
you
absolutely.
may not be interested in that's totally fine, but you have to, and this is something that I really want. Like that's the part that saddens me about these conversations when these women walk in, call in. It's like, yo, sis, you're choosing too. It's not just him choosing you. You are choosing too. You are actively participating in this and saying, yo, I want to be in this or I don't want to be in this. And you
Right.
don't have to just give it up to be like, oh, I have to just wait for him to choose. It's like, no, talk to the people that you're interested in talking to. If they don't reciprocate, then they don't reciprocate. But
And that's
it's
fine. Yeah.
totally fine for you to know that you are choosing too.
That's right.
Absolutely. There's power in that.
But
That's
I
right.
think is he says things like so absolute. Like he says a man will never want to be with you if you have children. That is not true.
That's so
I've
not
seen it
true.
That's
time and time
absolutely
again.
not
That is
true.
not true. That is not true. The Brady. I know that's I know that's a wrong. I know that's not a good example because it's fiction, but like that's literally like a blended family. There's blended families all the time. Or if he's
Yeah.
single, I actually have a friend. He did it in his late 20s. He met this young lady. He really liked her. She was pregnant at the time. Unfortunately, it didn't work out with the father that she, who got her pregnant or whatever. He dated her and married her, and she had a daughter already. So she had a daughter, and she was pregnant when they met,
Wow.
and they got together. They dated. They got married. They still together. So I mean, maybe that's not something that happens all the time, but I've seen people
Yeah.
date people who have children.
Yeah.
So the way he makes it seem like it's impossible is not true. But anyway, like I just think that he's talking from the stance of people who don't believe in Jesus, and their priorities are off.
I just
Some
wanted to
people
add to
actually are like that,
I
but
just
it's
wanted
not
to
the end all
quickly
be
add
all.
to
Go
what you
ahead.
said about women having children, I don't hear him talking about men having children.
No.
I have not
I can't
heard him.
even say because I don't listen to him enough.
No,
But the ones
I
that
watched a few videos. I did watch a few just in preparation to have this conversation, but I'm just like, I didn't see him talking about like, yo, bro, you are unattractive to a woman because you have children or you have a child. I did hear him talk about like baby mothers type of thing, like handle that type of stuff, but not necessarily like you the level by which a woman is unattractive to a man based on her having a child. I haven't heard it to that same degree for a man.
Well, he holds
so
a completely different standard, I think, for men and women. You can just
yeah.
hear it in his approach for it, right? So for the men, it's like the money is the thing, right? But once a man has that, he can pretty much do and get any woman, you know.
Hmm.
But I think it also has to do with the age. Like you keep saying, Janelle, how do you expect somebody in their 30s? But for me, if I feel like he's dismissing people past 30, past 35. It sounds like that. Like what your value is dropping once you're there. And don't add a child on top of that because your value has gone down, 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 you know, and it's just not realistic. I'll be honest with you, Trey. You mentioned that you used to never want anyone with a child. When I was
Hmm.
younger, I used to think like that too. But then I had to realize, like, reality check, people have children. Like, some folks have kids when they're really young. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I think it also comes from, I know for me, it came from just not wanting to deal with the drama that comes along
Absolutely.
with the potential baby mama drama and,
yeah,
ex
yeah.
Absolutely.
drama and all of that. Like, really not wanting to have to deal with that. So for me, I know now, like, a question for me is, do you have children? Okay, cool. How old are your children? Because if the
Right.
child is like a year or two, that mom,
Girl,
you are like
yes.
linked up hard. Like,
She
there's no way
still love you in real life.
there's no way,
Yeah,
right? And you
yeah.
can't tell me like you just had a baby. Oh, but I'm not with the mom anymore. Oh, okay. I'm that's you're
It's
not
too
for me
soon.
because
It's too soon.
that's way too soon. You're literally raising a human being right now who needs y'all
All the
completely,
time.
all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
All
constantly.
the time.
So at some point, right, the little, you want to call it selfishness or whatever, come, you're gonna have to be there. And I could there's potential for like challenges. Let me just put it that way, right?
Absolutely,
Especially
absolutely.
with a baby, right? But if you have a kid who's like, you know, 8, 9, 10, whatever, and above, it's like, okay, it's normal for my age. It definitely, matter of fact, a lot of people my age are already sending their kids off to college, so
That's
You
wild
you
to
know
me,
what's
but
so
it's
you know
true.
what's so funny?
it is
You know
very
what's so
wild.
funny?
It's wild to me, but it's true.
The I once I started to get to a place, and I remember because Janelle and I had this conversation a long time. I was like, nope, don't want it. Nope, not interested. Nope. It's a hard no. And then I was just like, okay, well maybe I could be okay, but how old is your kid? But well, okay, so like these are the things. Like how old is your kid and how you talk about her? Cuz that's
Mhm.
Yeah. How
important.
do you treat her? How
How do
does
you
she
treat
treat
her?
you?
What's y'all
How do you treat your
relationship?
child?
How do you talk about her? Because I don't care if you know what I'm saying? But if you do not have a solid level of respect for a woman who carried your whole child,
Yes.
like, sir, why I don't know why we can't. And also, are you a real father? Not just like, yep, that's my kid, throw some money at him, you know what I'm
Ooh,
saying, or at
child.
them, or whatever. Because those were the things I remember when my fiance told me he had a kid. I was like, okay, all right, all right, he got a kid. Okay, let me ask these questions. Like, like let me ask about your relationship with the mom. Let me ask how old is the kid? How old? What's y'all relation? What's the relationship with you and your kid? Are you a dad? Like, or are you just like father on paper? Can she contact you? Does she feel comfortable contacting you? Like, hey, your son or your daughter needs something, or your children you know what I'm saying, is this person able to contact you? Because that shows a lot of emotional maturity, I feel, as well. Like if this woman feels like she can contact you and she knows that you will come through for whatever it is that she's asking for your child. So
Yeah.
those were really important conversations. Um and even just like listening to how, how the person speaks about the relationship that they were in, because I mean, you can say it was a horrible relationship, you can say it was a hard relationship, you can say that
Yeah.
relationship challenged you, you can say all of those things about the relationship, but how do you talk about that person? That
Yeah.
stuff matters. Yeah.
And you know what? There are people who actually prefer people who have children. I've heard it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
prefer people who, well, at a certain age. One of my friends, she's 52 and she looks fabulous and has a lot going for herself. She says she actually prefers men who are divorced because they've learned and grown. And
Mm,
some people prefer people who have children because they're very focused and they're
Yeah.
not about shooting the breeze and just whatever. Like they're very
Yeah.
intentional. So like
Yeah.
thankfully what Kevin Samuel says, or people who say things like Kevin Samuel, is not gospel. So
no.
you can listen, but you need to really chew the meat, spit out the bones. And there's a lot of bones in my opinion, but it's 9 o'clock. But
Oh wow.
we've been on for about an hour. But before we go, I
This
want
was so good, Xavier. Thank you so
yeah,
much, girlfriend.
Yeah, for
before I
having.
oh no doubt. Before we go, I want to ask you, like, so how is it dating at
Mm.
44, and what does Jesus have to do with all this? Like the dating and how do you actually like choose people to date and all that stuff?
Yeah. So for me, dating at this point in my life is intentional, right? So
Right.
I'm just it's I don't want to just like fling out there, right? I want an intention. For me, it's intentional, and not about being choosy, but really like knowing who it is that I'm spending my time with. Like as we get older and we mature, you realize your time is valuable, right? And
Mhm,
so,
mhm,
and
mhm.
also, if nothing else that we learned from this pandemic, out life is short, right?
Yes.
So
Wow.
one of the
Mm.
most valuable things that God has given us is
Yeah.
time. And we got to choose wisely with that. So for me, it's just intentional and wanting to have see someone who aligns with my thought process, my foundation. I really, for me, one of the first things I ask, or sometimes I don't even have to ask you. If you're a Christian, you can tell if folks are grounded in Christ just by their conversation.
Mhm.
Or one telltale giveaway for me a lot of times is if somebody says to me, "Oh, you're religious." As soon as I hear that, that's a red flag because
You
I
don't
don't like
know.
I
Yeah.
don't like the term at all. Like I'm
Me
religious. I
either.
don't consider myself religious.
Agreed.
I have a relationship with Christ, right? And that's what it is for me. So if you think like that already, that's telling me, and usually it's somebody who's not a Christian who will think like that, right? um and so I'm trying to be intentional, but it's challenging. I will say this: we're coming out of a pandemic, right? I was doing some online dating, and I tell you, it's a whole different world out there because honestly, it just feels like we have always had a ratio of higher with men, more women to men, right?
Yeah.
So you have always, I want to say, had like choice as far as, you have 10 women to one man. But it just feels like men want to be pursued more. And it's hard for me. I'm telling you, it's like I've been in groups, conversations. I've hosted actually events called the Truth Forum, right? Which is a dating and relationship forum where we have these conversations about dating from men and women perspectives. And it's like, especially if
What can you unpack what does that mean to be pursued more? Are you saying like I want to know that you're interested in me? Like I want like I as a man, I want to know that you're interested in me. Like I want you to show that. Is that what that means by
I
pursuit?
am not
about it too, but
surprised.
I'm gonna say so. Just conversation. I think. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed some of what you said, Trey, because I think we were. But I want to say pursuing, right? As far as what I think they mean, because honestly, I don't really understand the concept. But it sounds to be chased, right? Instead of whereas the older generations, a man pursued a woman, he courted a woman. The woman let him know she was interested. Um,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
And the man did those chivalrous thing. Like chivalry is not even a term that we use nowadays. And if you could get into those conversations, what always the topic that comes up is who should pay for a date. And I've been in group chats and conversations where the whole chat was about, well, why can't a woman pay for everything and this and that? And y'all want to be liberated and you want to be this, but then y'all want us to pay for everything. And everything always comes down to like who has the power, who has the money, and this and that. And men not really. And when I say pursuing, right, if I'm showing you that I'm interested, there's many ways we can do that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You can flirt, you can whatever, you can show interest in what they're interested in, you can try
Mhm.
to spark up a conversation. I've done this before. Either sometimes a man doesn't pick up because apparently sometimes men, and I've heard this from men close to me in my life, like my family members, sometimes men are oblivious to the way the
Mhm.
signs that women are giving. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know how much more obvious you need to be, but you know, but
You
it's
look at them and they're like, she's just looking at me, and it's like,
right.
no,
Or
I'm
you
trying to
say,
tell
hey,
No,
you I'm
I'm attracted to
interested.
you.
Like
you
I'm
know,
looking
or you
at you
say,
because I'm
hey,
looking at you.
you're looking beautiful. Or for me, I've given compliments, and I've intentionally given a compliment. I don't have a problem complimenting women or men, but I've intentionally given a compliment to a man who I'm like physically attracted to, and even maybe getting to know him because of how I see he conducts himself on social media or whatever, what he talks about and this and that, and it piqued my interest, right? So I'll say something like, hey handsome, how you doing, or whatever. I don't know how much more I need to say. Like, I don't just go around randomly being like, hey handsome, hey handsome, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know, but I feel like at this stage, and this is where I'm having a challenge. It's like, do I need to be like, hey, would you like to go out? I don't feel comfortable to.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
you have some men who are like, we love it if a woman would do that because we always have to chase. We want to be pursued. I've heard that. And I'll be honest, it's kind of tough. Well, what does that look like? Now, it's a generational thing to me because if a guy is usually older, I want to say in my age and a little bit older, they tend to have more of the older, more traditional ways, right? Where they pursue, they open your door for you, they have you walking on the inside. I had this conversation actually with Warner
Oh,
about the
my
walking on
husband.
the inside, walking on the outside. Yes. Um, and just like those typical chivalrous things that the older generations used
Mhm.
to do. Um, it's a different day and age. And dating, I'm gonna be honest, is difficult because at this age, a lot of folks. Okay, let me just preface this. So I tend to get approached by younger guys all the time, so
You
I
probably
don't tend.
think you're younger.
Yeah, they usually think that I'm younger. So I've always been pursued. I want to say for the last maybe 15 years by younger guys. It's here and there when it's guys a little bit older than me, but because they're younger, they think differently too. So there's certain
Mhm.
things because of my age and the way I was brought up that I kind of expect, and sometimes that's not the thing, and that's where the gap kind of comes in, and
Mhm.
through all of it, it's like I want to also know you have a relationship with God. That's super important to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want us to be able to connect on various levels,
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
What are your goals in life, right? Because also I'm not in my early 20s. Like I'm not just trying to run the streets. That's not me at all, right? I'm thinking about purchasing a house. I'm thinking about what my next 5-10 years is going to look like. You
Mhm.
know, am I gonna still have a family? And I actually, it's funny, Janelle, when you said that, like some women, I guess as we get older, I actually at this age do prefer if somebody has a child,
Yeah.
um, or
I'm not
children.
surprised. Yeah.
Like I actually, and it shifted for me over the last couple of years, where my mindset got like that, and that's for because of my particular situation also. But I also feel like fatherhood a lot of times matures men. Um,
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. It matures. Well, if you
it
actually are a invested mother or father, it's going to
Right.
mature you.
Yes.
There's no other
Yes.
way.
Yeah. And I feel like if a man is a girl dad, right? Um, he's learning about what it means to woman differently than he ever has before. And
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
man
Yeah.
is his daughter's first love, right? And so ideally, he will be teaching her and learning about women through
Mhm.
his teaching her how treat a woman so that she
Yeah.
knows for when she
Yeah.
is in that stage for dating
Yeah.
what it really
Yeah.
looks like to be treated
Yeah.
right by a man. So, like for me, all of those
Mhm.
things are at play at this time, but I still want to be pursued. Like I'm.
And you should be. I agree. You
As you
should be
should.
pursued.
I think that whole I don't know exactly. I don't know. I don't know how to, like that was kind of just I don't know. It was kind of strange. The reason why I'm saying that it was kind of strange is because I felt like I
Which
had
part was
to
strange?
pursue the part
The
about
men,
pursuing someone,
Oh yeah.
the
like
men
a man,
pursuing.
you pursuing a man, because the thing is, I felt like I pursued men who were not interested in me, so I
Mm,
had to. I felt like that was the thing, and then it was like, so they
right.
don't like you. They don't like you. They that like he don't like you. You know the way that you think he might like you or whatever, and it's like, but this could be so great, and it, like in my own mind. And it's like, nah, he's not feeling the kid. The way that you thinking is he's not feeling the kid. But I do feel like there has to be, at least for me, and this is something that I've even learned in like in premarital counseling. Like
Mhm.
they the funny thing is, my fiance said something, and then my pastor was, no, not my pastor, my pastor's wife was like, but you need to use those words and say that because that confirms for Tracy so she can understand. He's like, and in
Mm,
his mind, he's like, I mean, and she's like,
No, I need to hear
no,
it.
she
right.
needs to hear it to confirm. So for me, like the way he pursued me was, it was necessary for me because it otherwise I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known because I am very much so, use your words.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
is really important for me. Is like, use your words. You want to say something, use your words to say something. And I use my words to be like, yo, hey, you want to talk to me? Like, what's up? Like, where we at? And they were like, no,
Mhm.
not in
Right.
those
It's a
words,
catch
but
22.
it was
That's
like,
hard.
no. So I don't
That's
know
hard.
how it would be to even, the reality is when I tried to pursue a man, um, I'm lying. When I tried to pursue men, it ain't one man, y'all. It was definitely men. I was out here like, it could be you. It could be you. Or it could be you. Like, what's up? Where we at? You know what I'm saying? But then it was like they all at the same time was like, no, you're
And
great, but no.
right. Because no, that's hard because most, at least in my experience, but maybe I'm of the older generation now, I don't know. Men want to pursue you. If they like you, they'll pursue you. If they don't like you, then they won't pursue.
I agree with that.
Usually is as simple
Absolutely.
as that. But honestly, Xavier, I'm surprised. I do believe when I was dating, I did feel like men felt like they were
Entitled.
a little better
The
entitled.
prize.
That is the
The
word. That
prize.
they were the prize. Well, I can say we both, yeah,
I
but
know,
like
but it felt like you're like the bigger prize. Like, you know what I'm
more of
saying?
a why?
Yeah.
Why? Because there's more women, like you said, than
That's
men.
right.
And so, and now women are so, especially as we get older, women are so hard, it's hard to
Aggressive.
say, but like hungry, and
Yeah.
aggressive. And so it's like, well, if she's giving me this, this, and this, what you doing for me? And it's like,
That's right.
no, what are
Right.
you doing?
And
What,
let's not
not
move
what
in
are you doing for me, but like,
dehydration. Hmm.
yeah. And so I honestly did feel like that. I felt like if I'm one time, it was a wrap for me,
Because
Yeah.
it's
and I'm
like, I'll
like,
replace you. I'll replace
right,
you.
you're
It felt
replaceable,
replaceable.
and I
Yeah.
can easily replace you. Sit.
Yeah.
And
That's
to be
right.
honest, looking back, that's okay because you really, really weren't that into me. If you could
That's
Hmm.
replace me, I'm first of all, I'm irreplaceable. Second of all, you really didn't like me. If you thought that you could replace me, then
Period.
like Trey always says this. Now that she's with her fiance, she says, "Oh, if he really like now, I know how it is to be really, really liked.
Hmm.
Because if he really likes me, I cannot like deter him unless I'm crazy. Like you can obviously
Yeah.
like do the hard things and like push somebody away, but if you're being yourself,
Yeah.
you're not gonna turn
Yeah.
him away. Even if you
Yeah.
make mistakes and I don't know, your breath stinks sometime or whatever it is, like you cannot deter somebody away that actually wants to be with you. That's like
Yeah.
we always say, if you really wanted to do the thing, you do the thing. You make the time. You know, you're not too busy. You can create the time, or you can say something like, I don't believe whatever people want to do, what they want to do, and when they don't want to do it, they create
They
excuses.
won't.
You know
Yeah.
it by
Yeah,
their actions.
Yeah.
So
that's
that's it.
right.
Yeah.
Actions tell
Yeah.
everything. You know what I mean? And so I honestly feel like if a man wants you, he will pursue you. You know, how many
Absolutely.
times have there
Absolutely.
been men who were in a relationship with a woman for years, do not commit to her, they break up, the next
Lot of
thing you know,
mercy.
6 months later, he's getting married.
Lot of mercy. Lot
What
of
was
mercy.
that?
This is
Right.
a man who doesn't want commitment, but what was it that changed? He didn't want it with you.
You with you,
You know?
right? You wasted time.
Lot of
Yeah,
mercy. Yeah.
yeah,
Woo! There's a
Lot of
so
mercy.
honestly,
That's
like
good.
I tell
That's
y'all,
good.
whether you know Jesus or not, he will help you in dating. I am telling
yeah.
you. Trey can say it in her
Mhm.
experiences. I can say
Absolutely.
it in my experience, and I know Xavier can say it. God shut so many relationships down for me that I thought was it, that really wasn't. And I'm thankful
Y'all,
now.
it's crazy. It's
And
crazy
you don't even
because
realize
I really wanted
It,
it.
I really wanted it.
Let's say that.
I
Can we
really
say
wanted
that?
it. And I thought,
I was literally
me
like,
too.
Lord, please,
pretty,
Father,
pretty,
I
Wait,
pretty.
wait,
hope
wait,
it's him.
wait. Do you have journal entries though that you could look back on that says,
Xavier, get
"Mom,
off. I'm hanging up,
please
y'all. I'm
allow
hanging
this
up.
to
I'm
be
hanging
my
up because why is
husband,"
she talking about my life?
with a date on it that you can go back to and you read where you were pleading with God to, Lord, I love him so much. Just let him see that I am the one, Lord. Can you align
I
our
am the
lives?
one. He is the one for me. I know he is.
I know he
Lord,
is.
let this come to pass,
Mind
Jesus. You
you,
know, if it's in your will, but it's really my will because I really want it to be done. Lord, please.
Or how about when you bite yourself in the butt and you say, but God, if he's not for me, then remove me. And next thing you know, next week he did something wrong and y'all are done.
done. But
You be
in
like,
the
dang, God, you work real quick.
real quick on that, not everything, but on that, and I look back and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad you cock blocked. I'm glad you
Mhm.
cock blocked. I'm glad you shut
Absolutely.
it down,
Yo,
because
This
when I
cock
look back,
blocking.
like
I
it
really
was, oh,
wanted
it's a
it.
he,
Goodness
what?
gracious.
Woo,
That
child, let me tell you,
he is
he done
a,
saved us in more ways than
you know what
one.
I'm saying? Behoove you. I'm not saying to start a relationship with Jesus because he'll help you with dating, but I'm just saying, like, within your relationship, there's a lot of things that God helps you with,
Oh,
and
yeah.
one of them is dating.
Yeah.
Just
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. You want to
Yeah.
read the Bible and talk, the Bible talk relationships, and
Yes.
maybe not exactly like old dating the way we date now, but like there's examples of how men treat women the way they're supposed to, and there's examples of how men treat women that they're not, there's not a good example,
Mm-hmm.
and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. There's deceitful wives, there's great wives, there's horrible husbands, there's great so you want to look at what the Bible says as well. There's this book that my husband and I is reading about the relationship between Rebecca and Isaac. They
Mm.
were married, and they were in the book of Genesis, so it's the beginning. I would say look at that relationship. Check that out. Google Rebecca and Isaac. Like, if you don't know the Bible, literally Google it. Like, you can start from there. So anyway, we learned
Can I just say
a lot.
something really quick? Because I
Of
went,
course.
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now where my family is. And I got a chance to go to Elevation Church. And the sermon this week was on Rebecca and Ruth and Boaz and all of that. And it was funny because it was just talking about how she was in the field, she was working and focused on her goal, and God was working things out. Had no idea. She had no idea that Boaz was watching everything she was doing because
That's
working
another
in her
good
purpose,
relationship
right?
to look at.
Right. And in her purpose. And so it was on that and doing what God called her to do, that how God used that. God used that, and she had no idea whose field she was in, what was happening, any of that. Right. But God used it situations, and I think of this even with myself. We just never know, when we're meeting people, when we're in our purpose, when we're not looking for the relationship, but really just focus on trying to fulfill what God has for us in our lives. Sometimes it's in those moments where that Boaz or the person who your partner for life is will show up in
Yeah.
your purpose. And so I try
Yeah.
Mhm.
to, for myself, honestly, right now, I welcome a relationship and I'm open to it and I want one. I do. I'm a wife already,
Mhm.
even though I am not married, right?
Period.
Period. So for me, I'm trying to continue to work on me, continue to grow as a
Mhm.
human being, continue to grow as a child of God in Christ, and work on my health and all of those things to like make the best version of me for me. But in
Mhm.
that, I believe God will use all of that, and somewhere
Absolutely.
down the line, y'all will be hearing me say what y'all have said, that my fiance or my husband, you
Girl,
know,
we bringing you the water package. You ain't gotta say it
okay.
twice. We bringing you some water and some snacks and some mints, my girl. Okay,
Right. Right. Strawberries.
I get it.
I mean, to be honest, I agree with you. Ruth and Boaz is a good story to read. It's the book of Ruth. Same thing for me. I was focused on where I was. I was working in youth ministry when I met my
That's right.
husband. I mean, yes, I was looking around. Didn't think I would meet him at that time. Didn't think it was him either. But I still, well, in the beginning, I didn't think it was him. Eventually, in our friendship, I was like, yeah, that's him. But it took some time in prayer and for him to realize that I was the person for him. But it was true. I was working in my purpose
Yeah.
when he volunteered for the same ministry that I worked for, and that's how we met and became
Look at
friends, and then
that.
eventually moved on. But I agree. Like it's important. Like I said, it behooves you to get to know Jesus, and he has the plans that he has for your life. And if one of the plans he has for you is to get married, then that's something that he would make happen. But you have to work with. A lot of times we try to do things on our own.
That's right.
I'll
And
tell
that's
you.
when we get in trouble.
Yeah,
Go on and on about that. I
I'll
can
tell
go
you
on and on
one
about that.
one one quick thing. I met my fiance on Hinge. And
Wow.
yes, ma'am. I
I'm
feel like
about
I
to get
have
the
to say it.
story off air, y'all.
I feel like I have to say it, but like I was not for the internets. I was
Mhm.
not for the internets, and for the other thing is, I was not interested in his photos, at all. I just wasn't. And he had one photo of him like this. What is this? What is this? I don't even know what that is. I
I
have
still
no
don't
clue
know.
what that is. I still don't know. And Xavier and everybody else, I have to say, at our engagement shoot, he tried to do this. I was like, please put your
Put your
hands down,
hands down.
please. I was like, please, 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 come
On
on,
deep breath.
please put your hands
Put
down.
your hands down.
Like, please do not do this. And he literally, we have a shot of him like this, and I was like, I should print that, but I really don't want to. But anyway, yeah, I met him on Hinge and I was not interested in his photos. He said apparently. The reason why I say apparently because I felt like I was killing the game, period. But he was like he wasn't interested in my photos either. We
So
were
why did
actually
y'all?
interested in
Wait, how did y'all connect then?
it was his comment, his like commentary. Like he had the question was like what do you want or something, and he liked what I said, my response, and I liked what he responded, and he like his Hinge profile literally said, what do you want, is like, I want someone who's really actually a believer, who's actually loves Jesus, who actually reads their Bible, who actually is Christian, who's like for real
Mhm.
about their relationship with Jesus. And I was like, let me try to get past this.
And they
And
aren't you happy that you did?
Right.
yes.
The first time I met Warner, girl, I was so not interested. What he had on thick glasses. It's like he was trying to push away anyone that was whoever could be interested in him. He looked really bad that day.
Oh
And I
wow.
was like, not interested. I remember I looked him up. I mean, I looked at him and I was like,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And
And
this
then
is
eventually, like
and
a month
yeah.
later, I was like, okay,
Maybe.
he looked different. He looked
Hmm.
way different. He had a haircut, he had a suit on, he looked nice. But the first time I was like, so if I saw a picture of that, I would have been like, no, was it swipe
Right.
Yeah,
left? I don't
see,
know. I didn't I would
that's the thing.
Right left.
I would have normally swiped left, but there was
I would have swiped
that
left.
was that I saw that and I was like, okay, let me just say hello. And then it was dry, and then we just had our first date, and then
It
it was
wasn't
like
dry.
a month and a half later we were engaged. Like probably, I think
Wow.
it was like a
Wait,
month and a
what?
half.
I
You
was
said a
waiting for
month?
your face to react.
Yeah. Yeah, no, our first date was
Oh, y'all,
was
this a whole nother show. I'm coming back. I want to
it's a
hear the
whole
whole
nother story.
story.
But our first date was July 30th last year, last summer. And we got engaged. He proposed September 17th.
Oh my
And we're
goodness.
getting married next month, y'all. So yes.
Listen,
Um
you better blow
but yeah.
up that picture of him like this. Stop playing.
Lord have mercy.
That's part of your love story, girl. That is part
You
of
know
your love
Lord
what,
have
story.
Trey? We
mercy.
should do a post. I have a picture of how Warner looked the first time I met him, and you have a pic, and maybe
We
maybe he
should.
wasn't attracted to me physically at that time. Actually, no, he said I was cute, but it wasn't like he was into me.
Right.
So we should probably do a post like that because I've seen a post with Russell
That's
Williams,
would be
Russell
pure
Wilson
jokes.
back then, and it looks like now, and some people wouldn't have liked him because there's some pictures of Russell Wilson that's like, but we already know how people are, all making a big deal about Ciara and her husband, and a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
wouldn't have even looked at him.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we should definitely talk about that. We'll do that.
yeah. I'm with
So
it.
with that being said, we gotta go, y'all. I definitely said I'll pray for Brooklyn. So we pray for Brooklyn before we
Yeah,
get off because if you heard on the news,
we don't know.
and you don't even have to be in Brooklyn to see this because we've had a couple of
No.
No,
people
my
who,
my my aunt in Canada
The
called
news
me.
is, yeah, and the
My
news
my
is
aunt
even
in
yeah,
happening.
Canada called me. I had family in Haiti hit us up on WhatsApp. Like,
Haiti.
are y'all
Wow.
okay? Yeah, it like traveled. That news
Yeah.
traveled.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we had friends from different states to hit us up. So in New York today, in Brooklyn specifically, there was a
Hmm.
shooting on the train, and that
Not
thankfully,
far at
as of
all.
right now, I don't know of anyone who died, but there was about 13 injured from my understanding. I didn't check the news recently as the day went by, but it is disturbing because when you're on the train, you can't go anywhere
Hmm.
until the doors open up again.
It started
So
in the train.
Yeah.
so
I
that
only
is
found
that's
Hmm.
terrifying. And
Yeah, yeah,
as New Yorkers, we take the train all the time, except for Tracy because she got a car. But you know what I'm saying? Like we take the train all the time, and that could have happened to any one of us. And it
anybody.
wasn't
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
and it wasn't like a like 42nd Street or like a very touristy area. It was a random neighborhood in Sunset Park, which you don't hear stuff like that. So let's pray. I'm gonna pray for Brooklyn. Yes, we all three of us are from Brooklyn,
Yeah,
and we
Mhm.
love
yeah,
Brooklyn.
yeah.
So I'll pray, and then yeah. God, thank you for Brooklyn. we love Brooklyn. We love our community. We love that you've allowed us to live here and be a part of this community that we rep so well because I know people from Brooklyn really rep hard. And so we thank you for that, Lord. But we pray for those who are injured today and who are involved, those who were at the station and in the train that got shot up. Lord, I could only imagine how devastating, how scary, how
Hmm. Hmm.
maybe discouraging that was. I already personally felt comfortable getting on the train after the pandemic, but imagine now. And so I pray that we as New Yorkers, as those who are Brooklynites, that we don't have this looming fear over our heads, Lord, that we don't have this looming fear in our hearts as we walk down the street, we take the train or public transportation. I pray that you free us from that. But even more importantly, I pray that you actually like shut down all the schemes that the enemy has to hurt people, Lord. That if there's another person out there that's trying to do something similar and they got a bright idea to do something similar, shut it down now, Lord God. Pierce their heart, Father God. Help them to come to know you and to be convicted by that, Lord. Help them to see
Mhm.
humanity and that we are not just people. We're just not numbers, but we with lives. There's people attached to life, Lord. There's family,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
friends,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
purpose that you've given us, Lord. So I thank you
Mhm.
for protecting us. One, that you would continue to protect us as we travel, as we live our lives, Lord. Give us long, healthy lives serving you. And then
Yes.
also continue to protect those who are in the streets and those who police officers and those who work the trains, or we know people who work the trains as well. And so I pray that you protect all of us as we go about our lives, especially as the summer comes around, Lord. People start acting up. And so I pray that you continue to protect us and shut down any plan of destruction. Heal the
Yes,
people
Lord.
who physically heal those who've been injured, and also mend their hearts, God. And the person who did this, Lord, I don't know if he's been found, but I pray that he or she is found, and that they see the error of their ways and they honestly come to know you. I pray that you convict them, Lord, and they come to know you. I thank you for hearing our prayers in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Amen. All right, y'all. Oh,
All
Darella's
right.
on. Hey.
Oh,
These
hey,
pictures, this on.
Fatty.
No, I'm just playing.
It's
Oh,
the
okay.
this.
See, he been hanging around you too much, Trey. He said, "Bop bop." That's you. I don't even. That was you.
You know that's not him. That's not him.
That
That
was
was
not him. That's you. Anyway, Xavier, thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
your life with us, having this conversation. We
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And y'all who are watching, like, subscribe, share,
That's right.
and comment. And we out, right? Trey, you got something else to say?
All right, y'all. So thank you so much for joining us this week for our Tuesday live with Trey and Jay. Thank you so much, Xavier.
Thank you.
Listen, I am not going to be shy about this. If you see the kid and you interested, slide up in her DMs. You'll never know. Okay. You'll never know what goes on. All right. Closed mouths don't get fed. You know what I'm saying? Let's say what we want to do. All right. But nonetheless, y'all, thank you so much. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Pull up to our Instagram. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm Trey.
And I'm Jay. Take care.
Have a
And
good
that's
one.
Xavier.